Good morning, everyone. This is Kendall Askins from Stimulating Minds. Askins stimulates on all social media platforms, and I'm joining you another Wednesday morning with another gem to drop. We've been doing this series really around how to get the best out of your child, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to build independence in your child. So I have a couple of tips here for you. I know sometimes I speak to parents and they're really trying to figure out how to get their children to just take accountability, take some initiative, do things. And I have 4 children, and people often ask me, they see that my kids are very independent, and they'll often ask, like, how are you getting them to do those things? Or how are your children at these ages handling these tasks? So it's not a big secret. So I want to share these tips with you and encourage you to implement them and see what results you get. So the first thing is give them tasks to do on their own. So these don't just have to be chores or things like that. Chores are a great task to have children do on their own. Often we think they can't handle it. My oldest is 14, my youngest is 5, and my 5-year-old does her laundry. She knows how to put the pot in. She knows how to put her clothes in the washing machine, close it, turn it on. And that just from showing her, right? She can take her clothes out of the washing machine, put them in the dryer. She gets the step stool. She knows what setting to turn the dryer on, and she does that. She collects the garbages. She makes sure that she, what is her other chore? Makes up her bed, right? Cleans up her room. These are tasks that I know grown people whose parents still do these tasks for them. And your children are very capable of doing these type of tasks. So give them tasks to do on their own. What I will also say is give them tasks where they are learning to advocate on their own. So for example, my 10-year-old, I just had a conversation with her because I noticed there were some missing assignments in her grade book, and I asked her about them, and she's telling me that she did the assignments. So I said, well, then I need you to go to the teacher and ask the teacher how come she hasn't put them in, or where are they, or let her know you turned them in late and that you're ready for the grade, right? So it's like setting this expectation, but giving them a task, letting them know how to complete the task, but showing them that you're expecting them to do the task on their own. And that brings me to the next thing. You want to make sure that you allow failure, right? We don't want them to fail, but you have to allow failure. Now, failure doesn't mean, they're falling apart, right? Failure is when maybe they're not as successful at the task the first time. So for example, just told you I told my child to go talk to her teacher. I told her 2 weeks ago to talk to her teacher, right? And I keep following up with her. That's actually point 3, but she's not doing it, right? And her grade is low because of that. And so it is me showing, like, I'm not stepping in to rescue you yet. Like, you need to do this, right? And you need to make sure that you get this task done. And if you don't get it done, these are the consequences. Now, I'm always close by, right, to make sure that there is not certain support needed, but failure has to happen, because if it does not happen, then what that means is that they're not going to learn. We don't learn from always succeeding. We learn when we mess up. Failure in a young one. What if I have a 1-year-old, right? Well, my 1-year-old is not going to be learning these things, but failure in a 1-year-old might be something as simple as you're giving them, like my children, we never did those like sippy cups and things like that, bottles. I did bottles when they were infants, but I nursed them, but we skipped right to regular cups with no top on them. And people would be like, oh my gosh, you're going to spill them. 1-year-old failure might look like them spilling some water on them, right? That my children didn't drink juice. I only gave them water. So if they got some water on them, it was okay. We changed their clothes and it was fine. But that's how they learned, right? Oh, I turned the cup too much. I have to only turn the cup a little bit. So by allowing failure, you're allowing children to learn lessons in that, right? If they're walking and you never let them fall down, you're never showing them like how to figure something out on their own. So you want to make sure that you allow failure. You also want to make sure that you're following up with them. How are they feeling about what they're doing? What's going on? If you're noticing that they're not getting tasks completed or they're not having success, following up, asking. With my children, going back to the example I gave of my 10-year-old, and my son is similar, there are times where I have to follow up with the teacher just to say, hey, what's going on? Not that I am getting the job done that I asked them to do, but I'm saying to the teacher, hey, I asked her to do this a couple weeks. Can you just fill me in so I know how to support her or my son in this process, right? So you want to make sure that you're following up with your child. Hey, did you talk to the teacher? Did this happen? What's going on from there? And so it shows your child that you are holding them accountable. You're encouraging them, you're finding out what they need, but that they know that you're not just talking, right? And that also reminds me, I'm going to throw this quick bonus in there. I know a lot of parents will say things that they really don't mean, or things that are exaggerated, right? Even when it comes to consequences, we see these exaggerated consequences like, you're never going to go out again, or I'm going to take all your toys from you, or I'm going to do this. When you do that and you give this exaggerated thing that you know that you cannot actually physically do, what you're teaching your children is that the words that come out of your mouth don't really matter and they're not true. And so you're going to get less results from your children when you say things that you really cannot follow through on. So you want to make sure that anything that you're telling them to do, or anything that you tell them you're going to do, is actually doable. If you're unable to do it, don't say it. Because once you say it, you're demonstrating to your children how much they can actually trust your word. So make sure that you follow up with that. And the last thing is that you want to give it time. So often we want to give our children tasks, and if it's not done immediately, we want to go in and fix it, right? I gave the example of my son doing the dishes, and often I walk in and these dishes may not be done the way that I want them done, or they might not be completely done, or something might be dirty. And I know a lot of us want to jump in and just fix it, right? They don't fold the clothes correctly. The laundry doesn't look the way we would want it to look. And we just jump in and we try to fix it and we try to make it look right. And when you do that, you teach your children that if I do this incorrectly, mom's just going to do it for me. Or if I wait long enough, mom's just going to do it for me, or dad's just going to take care of it for me. So it is so important that you give it time, that you repeat yourself, that you go back to them and say, hey, this is not done correctly. Redo it. Do it right? Do your best all the time, that you hold them accountable, and that you set the expectation and you require nothing less but what you said. And that might mean being patient with yourself, being patient with them, constantly repeating yourself with it. But what you're going to do is they're going to learn from that, oh man, mom's going to come back each time. There's no waiting her out. She's going to expect this and she's going to make me do this until I do it right? And then they're going to get it done. So again, building independence in your child, give them tasks to do on their own, allow failure, make sure that you're following up, and give it time. So let's see how you try these tips. Drop some comments if you tried any of these. If you have any questions, like, share, subscribe to our channels, and I'll see you guys back here next Wednesday for more fun. Bye.